Now to police-involved shootings, like the death of Pace University football player Danroy Henry in Westchester County in 2010. 20-year-old driving away from a bar when shot and killed by police. Officers claimed refused to stop before they opened fire. Henry's family insists the shooting need not have happened, and the cops did or would not help Henry after they shot him. It is sadly not an original story. We all know the Sean Bell stories of the world, where he killed by police in Queens the day before his wedding, shot 50 times by the NYPD in 2006, exiting a strip club, as I said, on the eve of his wedding. And Kenneth Chamberlain shot and killed in his apartment by police in White Plains after they had entered because his medical alert warning went off in 2011. And this May, Samuel Cruz, a schizophrenic, shot and killed by the New Rochelle police, called to the scene only because his wife sought medical help for him. And you're involved in some of these cases here, but you said whether it's these cases or other cases that will involve police shootings, you believe the current system doesn't always lead to justice. Why and how should it change?
All right. There's an inherent conflict that we have to recognize. And this is the conflict. A district attorney in Westchester or in Orange County needs the cooperation and the credibility of local police agencies to make their cases. That's how they make cases. They work cooperatively with the Middletown Police Department or the Newburgh Police Department. They not only develop close personal relationships, but they depend for their cases on the credibility of those offices. It's not in their institutional interest. It's inherently not in their institutional interest to investigate and show significant, fatal flaws in those agencies. My view is that what you need is an independent statewide prosecutor. And there's another reason. Every time we get one of these cases, we have a paroxysm.
So investigating, give me the scope of what they would investigate. Just shootings?
Any fatal use of force, whether it be a shooting, a stabbing, whatever it might be, by a local police agency that calls into question whether that agency's members acted in a reasonable way, which is the legal standard under the Conner v. Graham case, that has to be investigated somewhere else. But there's another point here. I want to try to talk about polarization. I want to try to depolarize these situations. Every time we have one of these cases, what you get is a tremendous paroxysm of anger, frustration. Much of it is focused on the lack of proper investigation, the lack of follow-through, the lack of accountability by police agencies. That's not helped when those investigating are seen as so linked with the agency.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I understand your argument, and the counter would be, we're treating officers, in effect, differently than we treat a regular citizen, and the perception would be that you have to have a special prosecutor for them because otherwise they're going to be that they're going to get the benefit of the doubt in the system and everything else.
Are you
putting them behind the eight ball?
No, absolutely not. There's no reason to believe that a statewide office, which would I expect be run by people of impeccable integrity, would have any particular stake in a particular outcome in a particular case. But what it would do would be to create a system where I believe the community would have much greater trust. You're also keeping the district attorneys in that county out of this minefield, which they're certainly in every one of these cases, of tiptoeing between the police agencies that they have to continue to work with and the public, or at least some members of the public, who are calling for the heads of those police offices.
Isn't there a danger that this might put more police officers in harm's way by having them be more hesitant to use force, let's say, because they're afraid that they'll be
I don't see that at all. I really don't see that. I think one of the things we need, and another part of the advocacy on these issues, is we need dash cams on police cars. We need that because accountability on both sides is furthered. Police will take responsible action as they need to take responsible action. They will not be deterred, in my view, from doing it, and there's no evidence. In fact, the contrary seems to be the case from the studies we've seen.
The problem with Mike's argument is it's a lawyer's response because he makes a powerful case for the inherent conflict, and something has to be done about that. Independent prosecutors are not independent. They are appointed by governors. This office will become politicized. I will appoint a prosecutor who will stand up for the police. You can't escape a community. You can't insulate the justice system from the views of the community, but you need some sort of safety valve mechanism. Many, maybe not all, but many of these cases cry out for somebody to do the investigation who's not investigating the guy he's on patrol with. There's a fundamental truth there. Whether you have to go all the way that Mike goes, because he never does anything halfway, is I think the much better question.
And is there also a line, Mike, where it's not just limited to use of fatal force? What if somebody alleges that the arrest that was made against them was done improperly, or that there was abuse of authority, and that they got roughed up, but it wasn't necessarily a fatality?
We have a civil justice system which people are allowed to bring under 1983 in federal court and under various local provisions and state courts actions against the police. We know that. What I'm talking about is that hopefully small number of cases in the state, maybe 20 or 30 or 40 a year if we have that many, where police actually use lethal force and kill someone or seriously injure someone. You have to make distinctions somewhere. I don't agree with Richard's analysis because I think there are instances of truly highly capable, competent, integrity-filled processes which are the result of a political appointment. I don't think the fact that it's a political appointment necessarily means the office is going to be tainted. Certainly nowhere near what we have now. What we have now are district attorneys who work every day with police agencies, and they are essentially, they have to be. This is the point. It's not their choice to be in bed with those agencies. It's their responsibility to be in bed with them. In Newburgh, in Orange County, they have to work closely with the police agency. That's not a fault of theirs. Right. But now when that police agency, 3 or 4 members, as we've had in cases, shoots and kills someone.
Or the problem the cops? What are you trying to solve?
No. The problem is...
Who's going to do the investigation?
You have to have a force. And
so it's not just a prosecutor.
Oh, absolutely.
You want to
Oh, it's an investigative force. It's not just a prosecutorial role. Absolutely. As you know, an investigation is critical to any prosecution. You can't have a prosecution without an investigation.
I got to hit a break, but is this model anywhere?
No.
So this
New York has to take the lead.
All right. When we come back here, we got more on RFL, including politicians and what the next year lies ahead for them, and who ought to be doing what in 2014. Stay with us.